Generally work very closely together.
All right, so we're good to go. I guess everyone's up and running. Can you just tell us where we are right now?
Okay, where we are right now is from the press conference we had yesterday was through ongoing surveillance and cooperation with other agencies, agents of the State Bureau of Investigation, ATF, and McDowell County Sheriff's Office were able to actually apprehend the suspect sometime after 11:30 last night. I'll leave those details for the McDowell County Sheriff to share with you. I don't want to get into information I'm not as clear on, and certainly he will be. The main purpose of our coming together today, Sheriff Mahoney and I, with you guys, is just let you know that we are actually still in a search mode for Mr. Thomas Bryson. We're holding out hope that we'll be able to locate him. At this point in time, when the suspect was arrested yesterday, in the victim's vehicle in McDowell County, he did not have Mr. Bryson with him. We certainly have every reason to believe that he is responsible for Mr. Bryson's disappearance through interviews and again sharing information and a lot of on-the-ground footwork between all of our agencies here in Western North Carolina. We're doing everything we can to bring that to a close. We have a family that desperately wants their dad and their husband back, and that certainly is the part that we're concerned about right now here in Henderson County. Again, I've got Sheriff Mahoney with us. This whole incident, or this last part of these incidents, has started over in Transylvania County, and we have worked very, very closely together up to this point, and he and his guys are still with us today, as it looks like, again, the majority of this is going to be focusing in Henderson County, at least the search part that we're over. We're not sure if other information may lead us outside of Henderson County. We do know that the individual had a lot of hours between the time that we believe he had contact with Mr. Bryson until the time that he was actually chased down and taken into custody yesterday. Sheriff Mahoney, have you got any? I know you had some things you probably wanted to share.
Just again, we continue to work this together with the same intensity that we have for a number of days now. I think we're at a point now that, as we have in the last several days, relied on you all to provide information to the public.
Yeah.
We are certainly in more of a need of that now. And I think it's important to remember that as we have Mr. Stroop in custody and transition into this next phase of trying to locate Mr. Bryson, that needs to be the focus at this point, and we're here to stand with Sheriff McDonald and Henderson County Sheriff's Office and anything we can do to help in that effort.
I would like to add that we believe, and I can't go into details, that the route after leaving the Mills River area may involve going up on the Blue Ridge Parkway. Certainly the vehicle was first located, I want to say, near Barnardsville. We're trying to put together, again, within that timeline, all the areas that this individual in this ridge line may have frequented, and trying to put together, if anybody can tell us that they saw that vehicle with more than one occupant in it and where that was. So we really are trying to narrow down, where to localize our search.
Sheriff McDonald, can you give a specific timeline of when you think he was on the parkway? We know that that Mr. Bryson was supposed to pick his sister up at around 8:50.
Mm-hmm. I can give you some very general. That's a good question, Kimberly. We believe that sometime between 8:30 yesterday morning, we believe that's when contact was made. Sometime between, say, 8:30 and 8:40. We really believe at this point in time that the initial contact probably took place within about a 10 to 15 minute window. After that, we do not know if when he left out of this road, we believe that he took a left turn headed towards Asheville on 280. However, we do not know for sure if he didn't double back and head back towards Transylvania, or where he went after that. All we know is the next time we spotted the vehicle was around 11:30 or just shortly before 11:30 when a chase ensued, which again I'll let Sheriff Dudley Green talk to you about that, but it was a long and ongoing chase that took place over a period of time and actually ended when McDowell County deputies, I believe, stop-stick the vehicle down on somewhere around 80 and 70 in McDowell County. But if I go any further than that, I'm kind of going by speculation, so that's all the fact I can give you.
Can you tell us whether or not Stroop actually said anything about Tommy Bryson?
I can tell you that based on that interview, we know that there was some contact made, and beyond that I can't. And again, I think y'all understand as professionals, we're not doing anything to be evasive. We are trying to, again, follow up leads. Obviously, the main purpose of our press conference, two things. We want to give information that hopefully you can share that will generate some leads for us to follow, and at the same time protect the integrity of the case so that whatever happens, you know, we've got a good solid case to bring to the district attorney.
At the risk of being indelicate, is this going to be a recovery operation? Are you guys going?
We are holding out hope that we're still in a search, in a search, but again, time is of the essence, and again, that's why we appreciate y'all getting your information out. Again, and I know you guys know, we have a family, not to mention a community, that's really torn apart by this, as it would be anywhere, and so we want to get them some relief just as quickly as we possibly can. Yes, sir.
Do we know where was he heading to? What was his final destination?
No, sir, we don't. We do know that I will tell you that this individual has family members in the Barnersville area, and we do believe that he probably had contact. You know, I will just tell you that this gentleman is a product of a enabling family, and that's been a problem for us, but I won't go into any more detail at this time there either. So, good question. We do believe that he ended up there at some point in time yesterday. We don't know for how long, and we can't even say for sure at this time that that did take place.
And the meth that was found in his possession, do we know where he got it from?
The what, sir?
The meth, you know, they found some drugs in his possession,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
How much was it, and where do we know, or where did he get it from?
That we don't even know. Again, right now, really, it was locate this guy and hopefully the victim. And now that we've got him in custody, whatever information we hope to get out of him, we'll get. But our main focus here in Henderson County right now is to locate Mr. Bryson.
Next for him, where is he going to be transported? Are you going to keep him there until he's extradited, or what is next for him? Several counties have charges against him, and we'll be bringing those charges. He certainly had enough outstanding warrants to hold him in custody right now. I'll be conferring, and Sheriff Mahoney will be conferring with the district attorney. Again, until this thing plays out, we don't know what charges we have. Certainly it looks like kidnapping to start with, but we still have an investigation to finish to determine that.
Were you able to get any information from the drivers of the two vehicles that you were looking for on South Military Road?
We were. I don't think they were able to help us. I do know that both of those folks called in. That is my understanding. I'm trying to get you more specific, but if there had been anything had come from that, we would have heard that. My initial understanding was they called, but they weren't able to give us any information.
Sheriff McDonald, if we could go back to the Parkway, I'm just trying to think through this route, this possible route. So between 8:30 and 8:40 a.m., you think that there was possible interaction, and that was the possible abduction window?
Yes,
And
ma'am.
you think he went onto 280, possibly heading north towards Asheville? He may have doubled back. Can you say that you think he got on the Parkway near the Arboretum?
I have no idea. Honestly, we do not know. All we do know is based on video footage that we had from a security camera, is that ridge line, it appears to be that ridge line, turned left onto 280, and I want to say about 8:41 or sometime there, which would have given him just enough time to have left his residence, you know, and maybe a few minutes padding to actually get here. Do we know for sure that's the ridge line? We can't say exactly. However, witnesses who looked at that tape, who know the gentleman and the vehicle, said they were
they were relatively sure that that was it. So again, I'm not trying to be elusive or evasive, but we don't want to give as fact something that may not turn out to be true later on.
You had mentioned the parkway, though, so I'm just trying to understand where, in what vicinity of the parkway, so we can tell our viewers who are obviously very engaged and wanting.
I would say on the parkway anywhere. I would say at least as far back as where 276 in Transylvania County, back up towards Barnersville and Mount Mitchell in the area where he was found. However, he had a lot of time to cover a lot more ground than that, and those are things we're just not certain of at this point in time.
Is there an area you're focusing the search on? I can see some kayaks and boats.
Right. There is right now. I don't want to get into that seriously yeah, we are going to be looking at a particular area.
Sheriff, is there anything else that you can
Yes,
tell
sir.
us? Is there anything else that you can tell us about Mr. Bryson? Maybe the credit card, or bank account between yesterday until the time that he was arrested?
I don't have anything to share, and again, that's under investigation, and so I don't want to throw things out. Certainly, we're going to be looking at everything, but I will tell you we had precious little information to help us track as of yesterday. So I understand your question.
Did Mr. Bryson have a cell phone?
It's my understanding he did.
On it at the time?
Yes, sir.
he was witnessing?
Yeah.
Has that produced anything
Very little.
useful?
Very little.
Do we know whether anyone made calls?
At this point, I don't, Bill. He was. We considered him to be armed and dangerous. It is my understanding that a weapon was found in the vicinity that he was arrested last night. Matches the description of a weapon that was described by somebody who was victimized in Transylvania County. So it appears the answer to that is yes, ma'am.
Wait, at the time of the arrest, did he resist any arrest, or what did he say when you captured him?
Okay, we did not capture. He certainly did jump and run. And McDowell County and the ATF, SBI, and numerous other agencies were involved in a manhunt. Again, the duration could be confirmed by Sheriff Green, but from what we were hearing up here, it probably lasted close to an hour, probably 45 minutes to an hour. But again, I'm getting into territory I'm a little weak on.
And that's the chase and the complete.
That was the chase and the resultant arrest, yes, sir.
Sheriff, speak about
Well, no, actually, the chase started about 11:30. So, but once his vehicle was stopped and he jumped and ran, they had about a 45-minute to 1 hour, best I could tell, search before they were able to actually take him into custody.
Speak about 2 hours.
Yes, sir.
Speak about the teamwork that you and the other agencies
Yes, sir.
put together, and for a good outcome. Can you tell us what did you do, strategy, and how did that work?
It's really funny because obviously law enforcement and emergency services are still very fragmented in this nation. But when we end up with situations like that, we all have good working relationships with one another. Sheriff Mahoney and I worked together when we were deputies under other sheriffs many years ago. Again, you can see right now we've got Mills River Search and Rescue or Fire and Rescue helping us out. In this community, in this area, people just have a great ability to come together, put everything else aside, sleep, work, vacations, you name it, and they just come together with a real family orientation to try and solve things. So there's no magic formula. We just know we need each other. None of us have the resources we need. I don't. This sheriff doesn't. I don't know a sheriff who does. And so I think the magic is that we're able to come together, pool resources, everybody gives 100%, and we do what we got to do.
Sheriff Mahoney, can you talk a little bit about the gunshot that was fired in the forest? I assume it's Pisgah Forest. What do you have as far as additional information on that gunshot?
No additional information on that. A single gunshot sound was reported. Our folks that were on the ground up there investigated that potential gunshot. When it was reported, it was not clear to the reporting person that that's what it was, but they felt like they needed to report that as a possibility. I believe at this point that's been ruled out as being a gunshot in that area.
Was the bike ever recovered from this
At this point, the bicycle, to my knowledge, has not been recovered.
Sheriff McDonald, I was honored, frankly, to meet the family yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot imagine what they're going through.
Yeah.
Many crimes, I know from doing this a long time, are committed by people that the victims unfortunately know. This is a complete random act, tragic. Can you speak a little bit about the family and about Mr. Bryson?
I've just met the family yesterday as well. They're very esteemed, very gracious people, very well known here in the Mills River area. Their family on both sides were here from the early parts of Henderson County, so they go back generations. They're very well thought of. Mr. Bryson is, by everybody's report, just a very gentle-spirited, very likable, just a very decent guy. Typical, really, of the kind of people you see in the area here that we're fortunate enough to live in. And like you, our hearts go out to them. We're praying with everything in us, that we'll have a happy outcome sooner rather than later.
Now that Stroop has been apprehended, are you able to bump up your forces? I know previously law enforcement was having to escort fire and EMS. Are you able to just let them go on their own and increase your forces?
Yeah, again, we're adjusting, but as you said, right now we're in a position where we're fortunate enough to have fire and rescue here in Mills River, probably augmented if necessary by other services. So while they're leading in the search operation, we'll be taking kind of the secondary role to help and assist them wherever they may need it. So again, it's always about reallocating, revising the limited manpower that we have. It's why I appreciate Sheriff Mahoney and the other sheriffs in the area for helping us out so much.
Are the U.S. Marshals still assisting
The U.S. Marshals are still involved as well, yes, sir.
And their focus obviously is Thomas Bryson.
Yes, sir. Trying to help us determine information, and basically everybody shares other resources. Some people have helicopter assets. Some people have other specialties. So even when their initial objective is met, they'll come up and tell you, Sheriff, we're here to offer this. If you need it, offer that. So I couldn't ask for more help from from all local, state, and federal law enforcement than what we've had so far.
Can you speak into what condition Stroop was in when you guys got him? Because if he wasn't dehydrated, if he wasn't suffering from the elements, that suggests that he had health, and there could be other charges from the people who helped him.
Yeah, we don't know that for sure. Certainly a good thing to follow along. Now, what you have to remember is the guy's was in incredibly good shape. We did have going for us initially the fact that we knew he did have limited food and food resources anyway, but again, he had nearly probably 16 to 18 hours to rehydrate, replenish. Who knows what he did? So he was still capable of resisting very well up until the time he was taken into custody last night.
Sheriff, a lot of times in this community since day one, but today, it's a different outcome. What would you like to tell the community out there in the tourism area that they've been suffering about, this situation? What is your message?
As far as what? I didn't copy.
The community here now, they're going to feel at ease because of the outcome.
They are going to. I hope so. Certainly, we know that threat is gone. One of the things I think sheriffs in this area struggle with our folks is, we got to be our brother's keeper. We got to pay attention. There's no one bad source out there. We really got to be looking out for each other, locking doors, paying attention, reporting things that we see. I think a lot of times there is a false sense of security out here. We want people to certainly not have to live a paranoid lifestyle, but again, here's a family that's been touched by something pretty horrific, and they were just going about their business living as everyday Americans. And I tell people all the time, our security is really up to us. We'll get there winning as quick as we can, but we got to be our brother's keeper. We got to look out for each other. We see that in so many other ways in communities like this.
You have on the parkway, are there cameras on the parkway?
Not that I'm aware of.
Back to that cell phone that Mr. Bryson had, was that recovered? in the car?
Bill, actually, I can't. Honestly, I can't. I don't know.
Okay.
It's not that I can't tell you; it's that I don't know to tell you.
Aside from
But I
calls,
couldn't
or
anyway.
Any ping kind of activity that would help you?
My understanding is
trace?
I'll tell you, we had one early ping, and then after that, as far as I know, there was nothing else. And I don't mind saying, I guess, from the method of operation that this guy had utilized when he'd encountered somebody before, one of the first things he did was shut off their cell phone. So, you know, again, we're talking about a guy who is very calculated in his criminal intent, and certainly was very difficult to deal with, and I wouldn't put anything past him.
How many tips are you guys receiving at this time?
That's going into our criminal investigations, and obviously coming into different areas, so I can't tell you. We have had a lot of help, and a lot of it's panned out to be nothing, but we'd rather sort through that and figure it out ourselves than just dismiss anything. But so far, the public, when they think they have anything, have been very cooperative, and we appreciate that.
Last question for me, Sheriff.
Yes, sir.
Where do we go from here? What is the lesson and what is next?
What is next is we're putting all our resources into trying to locate where Mr. Bryson is and to get a hold of him. You know, again, I think time is always of the essence, so we want to do it as quickly and effectively as we can. And I'm hoping at the end of the day, I'm hoping by lunchtime, but I don't have no way of knowing that we've got some good news for the community, and we can all just kind of breathe a sigh of relief.
You're going to give us another press conference, maybe what time?
Yes, sir. I'll have Allison get in contact with you. I don't want to keep getting you together just to feed you the same information, but as soon as we have something significant to give you, or we have some help that you can be for us, if you don't mind, then we certainly give you a call. We'll try and give you at least an hour or so. Does an hour timeline work pretty much to get together if necessary? Half hour's okay. Okay, we'll try and be as accommodating as we can, certainly.
Sheriff McDonald, can you give us an idea with the boat here? Are you initiating that because of a tip that has come in?
What we do know is this gentleman used the rivers and streamways a lot of time to affect his escape and avoidance from law enforcement. So we're certainly going to be looking for any kind of clues, and we just feel like that's one area we needed to pay attention to.
Are you looking for Mr. Bryson in those areas?
We hope to find him someplace. Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Sheriff. Folks, thanks again. Again, we do appreciate. I know.